right, hey guys, my name is Justin Burke. I'm the Associate Head Coach, Special Teams Coordinator, Tight Ends Coach at UTSA. This will be my third season. Previous to that, I was at USF, and University of Texas, and the University of Louisville, working for Coach Charlie Strong. Been with Coach Traylor since University of Texas, and really glad to be a part of what he's doing there at UTSA. I had a previous part, hopefully you get to see it, about run game fundamentals and drills for tight end play. That'll be another one that you'll be able to access on the drive. This one I'm going to talk more about the pass game. Okay, so if you've seen the first one, you'll actually get to skip the first couple minutes here because we're going to talk similarly about the same how I go about talking to our tight ends about what the role of the tight end is and how much stuff we actually have to get accomplished on a daily basis. We've got a lot to do in a little bit of time. All right, one of the greatest things that I have is that my head coach, Coach Traylor, does a great job with our culture, right? He sets the tone for us, and any assistant coach would be crazy not to use all the knowledge and all of the culture he uses in their individual and their fundamentals and drills, using those same things. Good example, our integrity. That's our pinky promise for our culture, right? We want the integrity of the pass game to look like the drawings, right? We have a specific thing that we want, right? We want to make sure our integrity, our assignment sound, we're detail-oriented. That's just a quick way of taking your culture. How do we have integrity? Obviously, Coach is talking about it being off the field, being men of our word, trust is truth over time. Well, how do we have integrity in offensive play, right? Well, we run this route at 12 yards, right? We cut at this angle, things like that. So that's a good example of using your culture to just keep on working what your head coach is talking about. So for us, everything we do at tight end is about our process with integrity. We want to be men of passion, mental and physical toughness, right? We want to be selfless and play with perfect effort. And if we do that, we take all those, we pound the fist, and we win the day every day, right? So I always talk about, when I talk about clinics, this is not created for you, the viewer. It's not. This is created for my guys. I use this, okay? So if I'm going to do a clinic or anything like that, I'm talking to coaches, I'm pulling from what I'm teaching my own guys, right? So one of the things I always talk about with the role of the tight end, okay, is we have a lot to do in a little time. So this is kind of a mantra. I have my guys read it out loud about 6-7 times a year before spring ball, before fall camp, before summer conditioning, before the bowl game, before the fall season starts, right? So I'm going to read it out for you today, all right? Because again, this tells me as a coach what I have to get done. It reminds me of all the things I have to teach and get done in a very small amount of time and to be efficient. I'm going to talk fast. You can rewind. I'm going to give you as much information in as little time possible, all right? So football is a mentally and physically demanding game. That's our game. All positions in football combine a level of mental and physical strength in order to perform at their best. That's everybody. You cannot be weak, right, physically or mentally and be able to succeed in this game. I'm going to say this, though. There's no other position in football where the ability to mentally and physically perform is more challenging than that of a tight end, okay? There are positions that are more mentally challenging. Right? The quarterback position, you're doing a lot. I played it at the University of Louisville. Okay? I had to make a ton of decisions, right? So you have to know what everybody's doing, right? But the difference is a tight end has to know everything, but he physically has to perform a lot of things. Quarterback gets hit 8-10 times really hard a game. Tight ends, we're physically having to go run routes, having to go block, right? So maybe more mentally, okay? But definitely we're more physical in that position. Likewise, we're one of the mix of a physical position, right? Offensive linemen hit every play. We may not get hit every play, right? But an offensive lineman doesn't have to know the routes, doesn't have to know the run game and the pass game. So the combination of mental and physical play is really, really unique to the tight end position. So when I tell that to my guys, they kind of light up and like, oh, we do have a lot to do, right? So no other position must learn to execute every aspect of football. I'm not just talking about offense. You got to know what defense is doing against you. You got to know what the techniques are that are going against you. And you also have to play special teams. So a tight end, you got to run block just as well as an offensive lineman, right? Receiver doesn't do that. They're not in the box blocking. You might have a couple that do, but for the most part, we've got to do that. Wide receivers don't, right? Tight end's got to pass protect just like a tackle, right? As a fullback and a tight end. We got to shift in motion, okay? We're usually, the defense is set to the tight end. We take advantage of that by shifting and motioning, captaining that, make sure everybody's off, on, making sure we're good, right? We also have to run great routes, right? Just like a wide receiver, whereas your center is snapping the ball and he's blocking, right? Your quarterback's getting it and he's throwing it. Us, we've just got done run blocking and now we got to go run great routes, right? We also have to catch and score, right? Catch and score. Those always go together. And in the end, too, we also have to play special teams. We're a big skill position. We're big athletes, okay, that can move. So we're typically in the back end of KOR, right? We're on punt, maybe in the shield or as a guard or tackle, okay? We're definitely in on field goal. So we're playing a lot of stuff, right? So what does that mean? This tells me as a coach, I've got a lot to get accomplished in a very little time. Also tells our guys when they read it out, you better be dialed in when you get to meetings, when you get on the practice field, because we don't have time. Every minute we get, we're working on a technique to be really good at all this. So we can't be a jack of all trades. We got to be a master of all these trades, right? So I give a little example right here too. The reality of the tight end, if you didn't believe that you had a lot to do now, okay, our reality is that when we run block, typically guys are bigger and stronger than us, right? A 5 technique is typically 275, 280 pounds, and that's all he does. He comes off, okay, he strikes and sheds all day, right? When we're out route running, pass protecting, he's doing that, right? So we're at a disadvantage there, okay? We're quicker, but we're definitely not bigger and stronger, right? We also protect against men who are more dynamic. Who are we protecting against? The defensive ends, okay? Sometimes some blitzing linebackers who are very twitchy, right? And again, guys that are basically doing this all day during practice, shedding pass protection blocks, okay? And then we're running routes against guys who are faster and quicker. It is no denial that a safety and a corner are faster and quicker than us, but we have our body, right? So we're at a slight disadvantage. So what does that tell us? We have a lot to do in a very little time, and we're already behind the 8 ball, right? We're already behind. So what do we have to do? This gets our guys focused in, and hopefully gets you focused in on, you have to be totally focused, right, on being fundamentally sound and mentally tough. There's just too much to do, right? So what do I equate it to? Okay, I as a coach want to make sure I hit all of this. I have a daily must. I have a drill list that's 2 to 3 pages long that I can say, hey, I need to hit run blocking today. Well, I did it at tight end yesterday. Let's do it at fullback. So these are our daily musts. We got to run block at tight end and fullback. Hand in the dirt or in the backfield. We've got a perimeter block, right? Out there in the as a wide receiver. Out of the backfield as a fullback. On the line of scrimmage, exiting the front with our hand in the dirt. We got to pass protect with our hand in the dirt against a 9 technique, a head up, an inside 5. But we also have to pass protect against a blitzer at fullback, right? And some of the more deep down the field shots or play actions, right? Then we have to get into route running, which is what I'm going to focus mostly on in this talk today. So route running wise, we got a stance and start. We got first level releases, second level releases, breaking point, catch. Yeah, we got a lot to do, okay? And then in the end, we got to have ball security when we do it, okay? So what does that look like? Okay, I know the guys who have watched the previous one, okay, this is now a very corny joke, all right? So we're a buffet. We've got a lot of things that we got to do, right? Golden Corral, love it to death. I don't go there for the pizza, right? I might go there for the yeast rolls. But they have pot roast, they have mashed potatoes, they have Bourbon Street chicken, right? They have those things that they're okay. You can go get a lot. They're all kind of average, right? So if I go to Golden Corral and I'm just an okay pass protector, right? I'm just an okay route runner. I'm just an average carrot cake / pass protector run blocker, right? So what do I want it to look like? We have a buffet, right? We want it to look like a Vegas buffet. We want to make sure that our pass protection is the carving station, right? Our route running is a raw bar that everybody wants to go and eat. So it's a small little representation. It's a good visual for our guys like, hey, we got a lot to do, and we could be really good at stuff, okay? We can be really average at it too if we don't stay focused and if I'm not organized as a coach and they're not focused when they come to practice, we're going to look like that, which is okay, right? You're not going to starve, but we really want it to taste really good when we do it, right? So, again, I've done some of the run game in a past clinic. You're welcome to look at that. We're going to focus more on the pass game, okay? So when I talk about to our tight ends, it's really important for me as a coach, okay? There's the what to do, the how to do, and the why to do, right? So one of the things that I always talk to our guys about is the what to do is the assignment, okay? If I tell you the what to do, I'm guiding you in what you do, right? I go to the zoo and say, hey, that's an elephant. That's a giraffe. I'm guiding you through. I'm telling you what those are, right? Here's this. This is a curl route, okay? It's at 12 yards. It's this, this, and this, okay? So that's the what to do. The how to do it is the fundamentals and techniques, right? Now I'm teaching you, okay, that's a 12-yard curl. It's at 12 yards. You're going to be right over vertical on your stem. Now here's the how to do it. Here's the fundamentals. Here's how to get out of a stance. Here's how to break a second level block or release, right? Here's how to edge break. Here's how to catch. Here's how to yak. All right, that's the really the how. Okay, and then so now I'm teaching you, right? So I've been guiding you on the what. Okay, if I teach you the how, right? Now we've taught you things. Okay, so that's an elephant. He's got the trunk. He's got all that, right? The third part, being a true coach, is the why. Why do we run the curl route at 12 yards, right? Why do we do an edge break? Okay, so it's really important for me to go from there as a coach. So I also equate that into the passing game. What's our goal? In the end, let's make it really simple in the pass game. Our goal as a tight end and really a receiver, these drills really aren't too different, okay, is to get where we need to be, okay, when we need to be there, okay, and doing what we're supposed to do. So Coach Traylor always says we have one team rule. We don't have a list of all these things that we got to do. It's be where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, doing what you're supposed to do with perfect effort. Well, I took that and I just used my head coach's words and made it into, well, what do we need to do in the pass game? Well, we need to get where we need to be. That's what we call spacing in the pass game. 12-yard curl is at 12 yards for a reason, because it's got a 3-yard arrow out to the side and puts pressure on defense. Okay, when you need to be there, that's the timing. Okay, so how do I get to the second level, up to my curl? So spacing and timing is critical in the pass game. And when your kids understand that, now they know why we do the things we do, okay? So how do we reach our goals? The what to do, the 12-yard curl, that's through assignment, right? We talked about this already. That's the spacing. I need to be at 12 yards. My other buddy needs to be at 12. My other guy needs to be at 3. This guy needs to be at 5. There's a spacing to all of our routes so we can now play monkey in the middle with defenders, right? Creating triangles. Through the fundamentals and techniques, right? That's the how to do it. That's the timing. Well, a 12-yard curl is great. There's going to be about 3 or 4 things that happen to me that are not going to allow me to do that, right? So how do I defend myself against defenders? How do I get to that 12? Well, that's the fundamentals and technique that we're going to talk a lot about today, okay? Again, I try to keep it really simple because we have a lot of things to do. I want our guys to master the route, okay? So as a coach, I try to break down everything. That's a part, so that the whole route shows up in the game. So if we've worked all these little things to end up getting to a single route in the game. So it's stance and start. Then we have a first level release. On the line of scrimmage, right? Maybe a head up defensive end, okay? Then we have our stem, speed, and second level release. Getting into our route. I'll go through all of these. Then every route has a breaking point. Whether it's an edge break, speed cut, however we're going to do it. Then we have to separate. Maybe we have to lean and wall and stack, right? Then we catch and then we yak. So you have to create drills for each one of these so that our guys can focus. If you just run routes all the time, just running routes, okay, they're going to be okay at breaking point. They're going to be okay at separation. But again, we want to be Vegas buffet. We want to be really good at breaking point, really good at separation. So we got to create drills that help with that so that when they've done all this, now they can go run a really good breaking point, okay? So again, it all starts with a stance, okay? So our stance and start in the route. You can see this is our route. So we're going to start from the very beginning, okay? Our stance and start. All right, we're going to be in a three-point. This is the other thing that's different about tight ends and receivers. We're in a three-point stance. That's some different releases and different things that we got to do, hand in the dirt, okay, to get where we need to be. So our three-point stance, it allows us to see. It allows us to go right or left. It allows us to have power and speed. But really the biggest thing on a three-point is we got to have our eyes up with vision, right? Common issues. I think this is good for coaches to always know. It's not being negative. It's just showing you what you can look for when guys are struggling in their three-point, especially a young kid maybe in high school or haven't played the position before. They get into whatever's comfortable. They lean on their front hand, okay, things like that. So you'll see guys, they'll be in a narrow stance. Well, that's not going to they're going to take long steps. They're going to get knocked off their route, okay? Might be in a wide stance. Now they can't step out, okay? So you want it nice and easy, shoulder width apart. They might just raise up instead of bursting out, okay? Their eyes are down. They can't get any vision. They're going to run a 12-yard curl route, and they don't know anything, okay, of anything in front of them, right? They're looking at the ground, which is not where football is played. Or they don't have any hands. So, again, just to visually show a three-point stance, we want to make sure this is a really good look. If you've just started the position, right, that's what a football stance looks like. When you just open up the dictionary and you say three-point stance, that's what everybody gets into, right? That's a defensive end stance. You're loaded up on your front hand, right? You're here, you can't go right or left. All you can go is forward. So that's not a good deal, right? We want to make sure when we're in a three-point stance, we're loaded up, our hands are ready, we're light on our front hand, okay? You can slide a credit card underneath our heels, and we're going to be able to go right, left, backwards, forwards, and be able to fight with our hands, and all while being able to see what we're doing with our vision. Okay, good look at it there. The other stance and start you have to work, obviously, is a two-point stance. So now we go from a three-point, okay, to a two-point stance at wide receiver. Okay, we still have to know what all that means. The two-point stance is the exact same. The reason we do it is the exact same as the three-point. You still want to be able to burst out, right? You still want to have balance. You still got to be able to go against somebody who's pressed you up. You got to be able to go right and left, not just forward, right? You got to be able to adjust, okay? If somebody comes up and presses up, I got to be able to adjust my up to be a little bit more based up. And then again, our eyes are not down. Our eyes are up so we can gather all the information we need on the defense. Common issues you'll see, false step. That's one of the most overrated things in the world to coach. Guys get mad when they false step. Guys are going to false step. The only false step you need to correct is the one where they truly go behind themselves, right? This right here, it's not a big deal. Violently get rid of things that don't matter. That little false step does not really mean anything. It's the big false step that you got to be aware of. The toe point, again, guys always talk about the toe point. When you try to correct a receiver or a tight end with a toe point, they get really bothered by it, right? The only toe point that you really need to correct is when your knee is pointing to the sideline. So that little toe point is not a huge deal, right? Don't overcorrect things. You got all kinds of other stuff you got to deal with. Those two, they might be a pet peeve of coaches, but you spend way too much time on them. So let them go unless they are truly taking away from the receiver or the tight end's routes. Their eyes are down, right? Again, they can't see anything, and their hands are down, and so now they can get jammed up, all right, and they're not ready to fight with their hands. So it again starts with that distance. So here we go. So now eyes are down, we're lifted up, okay? Our hands are ready, those are okay, but we're back on our back foot. Here's a really good position, right? We're based up, we got our weight on our front foot, we're able to burst out, but we also can go right or left if we need to. Our hands are up, but the most important thing is our eyes are up for vision, okay? Now, there's lots of stance and starts drills, okay? Really, all you got to do is just run every other drill that you got. You'll get stance and start with the other drills that you're going to work. Okay, so on the first day, work stance and start. Teach them what a stance looks like, right? Teach them what it means to be able to get off the ball in a three-point and two-point. And then never do it again, okay? Do it the first day for a minute, and then guess what? All these other drills, they start with what? A stance and start, okay? So make sure that when you're going through the other drills that you're coaching stance as well as first level, speed, breaking point, all that, okay? But don't spend too much time. In my opinion, you're welcome to, but in my opinion, I don't think you need to. All right, first level releases. What are we talking about? Okay, we're now, again, the fundamentals and technique tell us how to get to 12 yards on a curl. Okay, so our job in the first level release are these four things. Okay, our job is to get off the first level, right? Be able to release against a guy on top of me and get as fast as we can into the second level, which is linebacker, okay, to the third level, which is safeties. And that I'll talk through that so you know. First level, I'm talking about the line of scrimmage. Second level is linebacker, down safety level. Third level is that 15 to 18 to 22 yard seam area, okay? So get the defenders off the grass. We want to get out of our stance as fast as possible. We got to get on their heels. Our eyes in the first level, again, just like in our stance, they need to be up. We got to gather information. What's on top of me, what's outside of me, what's inside of me, right? Gather information. And then don't show, I'm going to go out on a route. I'm in three-point stance, I'm looking that way. Well, that's where I'm going, right? Keep your eyes where you can see everything. Our feet, we got to be able to use our feet. That's an influence, right? We got to be able to jab. We get misdirection at the line of scrimmage, okay? And we got to have great hands. They got to be violent. They got to clear defenders with our hands, and we got to be able to finish, okay? So when we talk about first level, okay, there's three types. From a three-point, okay, there's a speed release. That's where we go right now, okay? We're in three-point stance, and we're just going, okay? We're leading out, we just go, okay? Our hands, you want to swipe, dip, and rip, because all we've done is open up that first step. We want to swipe, dip, and rip, okay? Or swipe, chop, so we can get into the second level. A misdirection, okay? So speed release is just go, right? Misdirection, now we're going to jab opposite, okay? So I'm in a right-handed stance at tight end. I've been blocking the C gap all day on inside zone. Okay, that 6 technique over the top of me, every time I take that step, it has been violently getting inside to take his gap, right? So all I'm going to do, if I know I got that 6, I'm just going to quick jab step, he'll take the C gap, and I'll swipe, dip, and rip around him, right? That's a way to get past the defender, a 6 technique who's going to try to go right down your body on the line of scrimmage. Okay, the other one is a drop step, and really it's one that I teach quite a bit because anytime we go to the sideline, right, we want to open up with our depth and direction on our first step, open up our hips to the sideline so we can run our arrow routes, our wheel routes, right, our flat routes. So it's a true step to get width and direction and still be able to get out as fast as we can into the route. Okay, 2-point, we got to work that too. Okay, you got to work your 3-point, you got to work your 2-point. Okay, on the 2-point, again, you have the speed release. So I'm in a 2-point, and I just want to roll right past the first level guy. Maybe somebody's pressed up, or maybe somebody's off. Then I just can go right off the ball. Okay, again, misdirection. So now I've got somebody pressed. If I'm going to do that, I better make sure my back foot is a little bit more square, so now I can work both steps, right? If I'm in a really wide stance right here, there's no way I can jab and be able to get, I'm just going backwards, right? So we want to misdirect, boom, outside to go in, inside to go out. And again, our hands are tied with that swipe, dip, and rip. Okay, or a triple, right? So it's a boom, boom, inside, out, in, out, in, out. Okay, on the first level. So again, common issues before we get to the drill work. Common issues, your stance, you're off balanced or you're raised up. Okay, these are the things to look for when your guys are struggling to get off a 6 technique or press man. Are they raising straight up, right? Is their stance wonky, right? Are they off balance? They're making moves on air. They're not gaining ground. Okay, and a 2-point, when I do this, 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 and this, and the guy's 5 yards off, I've just wasted time. Okay? And then making moves on air, not gaining ground, same thing. Poor hand use or jammed up, right? So all of a sudden that I'm on a right-handed stance, and that 6 technique is getting right down the middle of me when I'm trying to speed release. Well, I need to be able to use my hands to do that, to clear his hands off of me. Same thing on a 2-point. I got to be able to use my hands to clear that guy so I can get to the second level. Okay? So we'll just work some of these. You can put all of these together, right? So this is a speed. This is an example of a 3-point with just a speed break. Okay, I mean a speed release. So all we've done is open up, run, but you can see he dipped that shoulder. We talk about all the time. Guys try to hit your chest and shoulder when they try to knock you off. Well, what do we want to do? Change their target, right? So we're going to open up and run, okay, to get underneath the defender and get back on our white line. Good example right here. Okay, you can see he doesn't have anything in front of him. There is no reason to take false steps on this. Just open up and go. Okay, it seems like it's a simple thing, but it's a big thing, right? He's got to know right now I can just roll. I can get downfield as fast as I can. That's a true speed release to get to my corner route. Now I'm in a 2-point. A lot of the times in fullback positions, we're uncovered on the first level, so we get to speed release quite a bit. So you can see it right here. We're trying to get to the third level as quick as possible. There he does. He opens up, depth and direction, gets a little width, but then he gets vertical as fast as possible, right, to get to the second level. Okay? If you have arches, okay, a lot of the times you don't need all this equipment, but if you do have it, an arch is a really good way for guys to understand how to dip and stay low on a speed release. So a really good example right here. To be able to get low, to dip that shoulder. You can see he missed the target, right? His guy missed, and he swiped with that off arm, and dip and rip. The rip clears the hands off. So the arch is really good. You can always add a ball onto these. So again, at tight end, we don't have a lot of time. So what do we have to do? We have to get our releases, but then we also don't want to spend 5 minutes on releases and not catch the ball, right? So you can always do this. Just add it to other drills. If you have a breaking point drill, start it with a stance and start and a misdirection release, right? So here's a speed release. All we're doing now, he's swipe, dip, and rip, getting to the second level, and now we're just running a route. So it's a way to be more efficient with your time at tight end because you just don't get a ton, right? So we did speed release. Now we're doing misdirection, okay? I call these crayons the hand shields. You can just do it with your hands, put your hands together like this, and you'll be able to get hit a couple times. You'll be fine, I promise, all right? So right here, now, this is where we take a jab step. Boom. Influence the defender into that C gap, and then you see it swipe dip, right? He swipes those hands and then uses his shoulder and his body to rip through to clear the defender to stay on his white line, right? So you can use these misdirections. Really good look right here. So you can misdirection. There you go. We've been cutting off the backside C-gap all game. Okay? This guy is going to be absolutely hell-bent on making sure that he's in that C-gap. Well, now all we have to do, we know that. So instead of going straight down the middle of this defender and let him put hands on, watch what this does. This first step, it just it stalls him for a minute. And then what's he got to do? He's got to get back out into his rush. Right? So it's just a quick jab. Get vertical. You can see he wanted to use his hands, didn't end up having to, but it gets you to that second level on the basic, on the dig. Another good look right here. Not just misdirections on the inside. Okay, sometimes you have a stand-up Sam or a 9 technique. Well, shoot, what's his gap integrity? It's the contained D-gap, right? We'll use that against him. When you step this way, what's he going to do? He's not going to get reached on any run game. Okay, so a quick step, and all that did was take 43, put him out in the flat, and they gave us a free rein in between 49 and 43 to get over the ball, okay, to get us a first down. Really good look at a very simple thing, but you got to work it. You got to jab, and then you got to get into your route. Good job by Gavin right there. So again, you don't always have time, right? So here we go. We just add a ball, add a route, add breaking point. Do breaking point and first level together. Okay, like I said a minute ago, you don't need to work on stance and start. If their stance and start's crappy in this, you've worked it, right? You got to make sure they get it right. But that's just a good look right there of just getting a ball on them while you do this. Okay, misdirection right there, boom. Now we add a breaking point and we add a route, okay, and a catch. Just a good example of trying to get as much as we can in as possible. I mentioned the open step, right? So the open, we've got the speed release, we've got the misdirection, we've got an open. The open step is important because, okay, in order to get to the flat, anytime that we're affecting the flat, we want to get as much width while we gain depth as possible, right? So if we have a 3-yard arrow route or a 5-yard arrow route, we're going to get our eyes right on the sideline. We're going to open up our hip to that angle, and we're going to gain width as we gain depth, okay? It's really infuriating how easy this is, but how many guys will just open up and run down the line of scrimmage when they have a 3 to 5 yard flat route. Okay, so we have to work it. There's the open step, okay? And then we got to gain distance as we gain width. Right there, okay? And again, you can always add a ball to it. Where it's important, let's say you have a 9 technique over the top of you. You got to be able to use your hands on that as well. But a good look right here, just opening up. Okay, you can use it this ends up being part of the pass game for the screens, but it's the same steps, right? Getting to the flat. You do it out of a fullback stance, right? Open step, get to the flat. You can see he's gained his depth while he gains distance, okay, to end up running the whip route. So that's your open step. Now, what can happen? You can get an old school underfront where you get a Sam, okay, or a 9 technique who disrupts your route, okay? Anytime that we're running underneath routes, so like a flat route or an arrow route, that is the underneath part of the route. We need to stay underneath defenders. We cannot run an arrow route over top of this 9 technique. We have to negotiate him or the Sam linebacker, obviously, who's playing us man. We've got to be able to open up and dip and rip through. Really good hands by Mitch right here. Boom, boom. Right? Swipe, and then he dipped and ripped that right arm through to get to his depth and direction onto the flat route. So a good look at it here, okay? We've got to open up, right? We're getting out to the flat. This guy just flies over the top, and that's fine just as long as our hands are ready, and then we can get our depth and direction on our wheel route. End up getting disrupted right there, but it's a good look, okay? The other thing that you can always work are some of these nakeds, right? We'll do some bump flats, things like that, right? I won't spend as much time on that because that's more for a play action game. And also you can work there are releases where you chip, right? You chip and then get out. So those are always things that you can work. Just a good look at a chip, okay? My guy's not coming. I can chip out and then get out to the flat on our checkdowns, okay? Some of the looks of that. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time. All right, so you've gone through the first level. We got through the 6 technique, okay? We got through some press. I didn't go through press as much as I would a receiver because tight ends, frankly, don't see press very often. We'll work it maybe once a fall camp where I'll tell you, hey, if you're ever out there in a spread position and that guy presses you up, here's what we've got to do. We'll go through it. If we go going into the week where they press the inside lanes or outside lanes with the tight ends, we'll work it more on our Indy. But for this, I'm talking tight end play. We just don't get that as much to even waste your time with it in this. Okay, so now we've gotten through the 6 technique. We've gotten past, right, the first level of the defense. Now we're entering the second level, okay, linebacker level, 5 to 6 yards, okay? So our job on the second level is to create leverage, right? We have to do a really good job of making sure that we keep the integrity of our route. One, we got to go as fast as we can. Speed is always critical, okay? Speed is always number one. We run all of our routes on our offense, UTSA, expecting man. Why? Because that decision, you cannot react to man. If you don't know that it's man and you sit down because you feel like it's zone, you can't get back on your route, right? So we're going to run every route expecting man. And then when we see guys buzz out, we're going to react to zone. We're going to be able to sit down and do those things in those routes that we now have to make decisions on, okay? We want to run every route on a man. When we're uncovered, that's rare at tight end. That means something's kind of either coming to us, going to be closed up, right? So we want to be able to stem a guy right over the top of him. We want to run every route on a man, meaning we want to stem a guy, right? A safety or a linebacker to give ourselves a 3-way go. Stem him to get outside leverage. That's what we're talking about when we talk about stem. Speed. Get defenders off their grass. Nothing scares the defender more than a guy going full speed, right? Because now he doesn't get time to react. He's got to go right now. He's got to make a decision on whatever he's doing, okay? And then our head up stem, that's our 3-way go. Our second, so that's stem and speed. Stem means this is the direction of the route needs to go. I'm going to stem a defender head up. Or I need to take an outside release or inside release based on our spacing of our route concept, right? Speed, if you ain't got it, we've recruited the wrong guy. We can work on it as much as we can, but if you can't run the route with speed, you probably don't know what you're doing or you're not fast enough. And that's really a problem either coaching, recruiting, or on the player himself, right? So that speed, the reason we talk about it is you've got to run every single route full speed. Second level release, what does that mean? A linebacker trying to knock you off of your seam, okay? A safety rolling down, knocking you off of your basic cross or your dig, okay? So what do we want to be? Just like we did on the first level, we want to be violent with our hands. Swipe, dip, and rip. Swipe, chop. However we got to do it. If we've got a zone defender, chop them down, okay? Break their forearms. Those are the things we got to do on the second level because those guys are not dumb. They know that they don't have help on the third level. They've got to slow us down, right? The defense knows where they're weak. So this is a good look. So again, don't work stance and start. There's your stance and start drill right there, okay? So now this is a second level release, okay? I'm going to start with hand wars. I'm sorry, I had it in the wrong way there. So hands, all right? We're going to start with our second level release. We're just going to talk about our hands. This is a very good drill because there is no running involved, but you still get a lot of good work. So if you're in the middle of fall camp, right, your guys are tired, you're in championship week like we were last year when we played Western Kentucky in the Conference USA Championship, our guys were dead. So what did we do? We just went in and did some light work on our hands because those guys were ready to play, right? So get a partner and just work your swipe, dip, rip. So swipe to clear the hands. You see these guys are right here, okay? They're putting their 2 hands up. So you're going to aim at that elbow, okay, and this forearm on these hands. You're going to swipe, and then you're going to dip your shoulder and rip through. Again, that clears it. So I want to see those guys be as tight as they can with their circles. Elbows tight and making quick circles, right? You don't see a lot of boxers do that. They're tight, right, and it's a lot of quick circles. And that's what I want to see them do. So we just go 3 in a row, go, go, go. Then they switch to their left. Boom, right there. You can see Mitch doing it really well here. Boom, boom. Violent, as fast as they can be with their violent arms. Again, this takes nothing. You can do it pre-practice, right? If your guy's legs are tired, or you just have like a minute to go and you need a drill, just throw that one in there, okay? Then we go back into chop. The other thing you can do with that, before I move on with the hand wars, they did dip and rip. The other one you can do is swipe chop, which a lot of guys like. We do that swipe, dip, and rip. A lot of guys use it on the first level. But I always ask my tight ends, like, hey, what do you all like? They really like the swipe chop. So you do that same drill. Instead of dipping and ripping, now all you do is swipe chop, okay, and then get your hand back. So it's the same thing. All they're doing is now they're going arm not over, not swimming. It's still tight, boom, boom, right there on their second level. Now, if a defender Okay, this is what we do on our chop drill. Again, stance and start. When a defender goes sideways, that's our second level backer right here. Let's say we're trying to run a seam route right here. They come sideways. You don't need to swipe, dip, and rip. All you need to do is chop their forearm down, right? You can see it right there. Chop their forearm. If they go to the side of you, boom, chop it down. Be violent. We talk about breaking the forearm, and then they get back on their white line. Everything you do should be on a line to see if those guys know how to stack, right? So go sideways. Now we work stance and start in 2-point, okay? Working down, we're in a spread set, and you can see that's very violent. It's a little long. You never want to give up your numbers. That's a really good rule of thumb. Don't give up the 8 and the 4. Don't give the 8 and the 8. Don't give up the 1, whatever number that is. Don't show your rib cage, however you want to do it. No swims, right? Good look right there of being able to chop those guys down. Sent Fred back because he didn't have a good stance to start. Now, take a look. We did a first level release, misdirection, to a chop, to a ball. So you can put all this stuff in. If you need to get more catches on film, that's what you need to look like. All right, so here we go. We go to one-on-one during practice. Really good look right here, okay? Let me just go through the whole route. Stance and start's good. We want to stem with speed on the defender, get him off his grass. And then at some point, that's our second level release, right? Get our leverage, chop his hands down, lean, and separate. Really good look by Leroy right there, okay? Again, 11 right here, Kelechi is faster and quicker than us, but he's not near as big. So use our body to our advantage. We've got large bodies with good strength, okay? So use that. Right here, he's not going anywhere. He doesn't believe our speed, right? But if we can chop and be violent and get that little extra step in, it's a really good look at a chop on the second level. Boom, right there. There's the chop. Chop. Good separation. That's 285 pounds against a very, very little body, making some separation. So again, we want to see it translate into the film. Okay, so here we go. You can see this guy's on the second level, right? Right here, we've got a dig or a basic, as we call it. You can see Gavin right here, he ends up chopping his hands down. Boom, right there. Okay, that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to grab, chop their hand down so you can get to that second level and get separated. The ball should have been on him. All right, so again, that's if somebody comes on the side of you. You use that chop. Okay, a lot of the times if they're head up, you want to use a swipe, dip, rip. Why? Because they're exactly where we want to be. The defender is now head up on you. You've got to do something different, right? You've stemmed him, okay? But again, what do they try to hit? They're trying to hit that shoulder, so change your target. Swipe with that off arm, and then dip that shoulder so they have a glancing blow, and then rip up and through, okay, to clear, to get back on. All right, so that's just working on a line. You can also do this drill. It makes you really tired as a coach. It's good for conditioning, good for cardio. You've got 5 yards right here, line to line, and they get 3 releases. The other thing that this does, it's called collision drill, right? So all they're going to have to do, I'm going to try to mess with their leverage, right? So they've got to react as fast as possible. If I jump on the outside, there's a swipe, dip, rip. Now they're blind, okay? They're going to hit that other 5 and go back 5 again. They can't see. So now they have to really, truly dip and rip and get through, okay, and use their leverage. So it's a 3 rep. Again, I'll just do it live right here. It's my favorite drill to work second level, swipe, dip, rip, or swipe, chop. Boom. There you go. It's kind of fun. Those guys like to get after me a little bit, okay? They start hearing me be as winded as I am right now. Okay, the other one, like I said, a lot of guys will swipe, dip, rip, but a lot of guys like to do swipe, chop, okay? You do the same thing, collision drill. The only difference is you can see it. He swipes, and then he Caleb really quickly chops back down. So boom, 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 right there. You can see his elbows are tight. He's got really good hands. One more look at Harrison right here. Boom, boom, and then back through. That's a good look at swipe, chop. So again, in one-on-ones, it's really good to see some of that detail. So right here, Oscar is head up the defender, and he does a swipe, chop. It's a really good look at swiping the hands down. There's the swipe, and then chopping. He's now showed the 8 and the 4, but if he's got tight elbows and a quick chop right here, right, he can clear the defender. Really good look at the drill. Okay, same thing here. Apologize. All right, so now we're going to stem him up. Okay, we're going to run a post. So we've got him on our grass, right? Got him off his grass, going fast. And there's the swipe, and there's the chop. And once we chop, that's when we get separation. Really good look right there down the red zone one-on-one. Again, wanted to show up right here. Okay, Leroy trying to get in the second level. Second level, boom. There it is, swipe chop. Boom, boom. He's got a seam route. He does not, this guy wants us to get inside, right? He wants to funnel us to the middle defender. We know we want to try to get an outside release. There you go. Really good look at this jab, and then a swipe chop to the second level. Good look by Leroy. Like I said, you can always work it with the one arm. Maybe you just get the chop, right? Pop-up work, also really good. Gives those guys again, you can do this at 50%, 75%, 100%. What this does is it now ties more into the feet and your hands working together. So you can see I give them high knees, right? You're going to high knee, and then you're going to swipe, dip, and rip. So what it does is it tells our guys, hey, when you decide to make that swipe, dip, and rip, you're still working your feet. It's still a jab or misdirection. You got to influence them with your feet. So this isolates that. I like to go really slow. Again, it's a drill that takes some wear and tear off of our guys. And when they get good at it, then you can open it up, right? So that first one was just 3-bag, going really fast. I'm sorry, going really slow, and then we can open it up, okay? So again, let's put it all together. We don't have that kind of time. Coach Traylor has given me 10 to 15 minutes of Indy. Well, I have not worked first level or second level in a couple days, and I only got 3 extra minutes. Well, here's how to do it together. Okay, there's a first level, there's a stance and start, there's a first level release. You can work speed or you can work wrist direction, and then you can get a second level. Let's say our guys need a ball. Well, there you go, you put a ball on. So we just work first level, second level, and a catch. So we worked all those routes, right? We did a first level, second level, and then the catch. Okay. One of the things, too, we do with the pop-ups is with a distraction, right? So we do the pop-up, and all of a sudden we throw another one, right? You got these 2 already set up. So you do a pop-up on the second level, and then you do a distraction catch. Again, just putting drills together. Be creative. Get what you need to get done with your guys. All right, and then you can get the pop-up. Again, go work the pop-up. Okay, let's say you've got, all you need is one pop-up, and then we add a break on the top, boom, 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 right? So now we worked what? Stance and start. We used our stem, our speed, second level release, breaking point, and then catch and yak. We just worked almost all the route right there while using a pop-up to our advantage. So again, I'm going to go back to this last rep we had a minute ago. So here we go. That's our pop-up, and we saw there's that misdirection jab, swipe, dip, and then get onto our route. So that's our pop-up right here. Be able to get around that pop-up, change our target, chop our hands, get to the second, third level. All right, so now we work some stem drills. So we've worked second level. Speed's always a part of it. Stem is a really big part of trying to influence defenders, right? So getting head up is an example. Here, we do a lot of things. All for tight end, one of the best routes in the world is a seam route, going all verts. Okay, well, they're not going to just let you widen out in the seam. So we're going to work a stem drill where my guy speed releases out, and he tries to take the outside, but you're going to stem up the defender so now you get a decision, right? So instead of just going straight on the pop-up, now you put them in a situation where they've influenced you, they've gotten you head up, and then they swipe, dip, and rip, right? It's just a way to work stem and a second level. Really good example. I'll go back to this one a minute ago, where Leroy was here, go from the wide. So he's going to try to stem up this defender. He has now stemmed him up. He's working with speed. This guy is off his grass. Well, that's a moving pop-up, right? So now we swipe chop to get to that third level. It's a good look right there of influencing defenders. So good, right? So there's our stem. He gave us the outside, so we keep the outside and we stay on that seam. All right, so now we're going to try to sim the defender. We're going to try to get outside on a seam ball. Well, a lot of the times when we get head up, okay, and we get the outside, that's great. We swipe, dip, and rip, and now we're outside, must outside release on our seam. Okay, a lot of the times those guys, they try to close that front door. They don't let us get outside. So we work this. The first one where Mitch was going, he got the outside on me, right? Here, now we're heading up, and the defender has closed that window. So that changes completely. instead of me being right here, where we swipe, dip, and rip on the outside, now you've got to change your thought process and swipe, dip, and rip on the inside because you've widened your defender so much, you're now on your seam landmark, right? But it's a hard thing to get those guys to truly trust getting outside, okay? Again, same look a minute ago. He's trying to get through the outside. He closes that front door. He swipe, dips, and rips on the inside. So we call that an open slip. We're going to open the defender, and then we're going to slip inside. Open with our stem, and then slip inside with our hands. So here's a good look right here. He's trying to get through the outside. Right there. He ends up closing that front door. So we just slip inside. We've opened him up, and now we see we're really on our seam landmark because we've widened that defender out. Okay, so we did a head up, right? We stemmed a head up, and we got outside. We stemmed a head up, and he went to the outside, so we did what? We open slip. Then you can work the drill where you make them, now they have to make a decision. So instead of me just running outside, right? Now they have to make a decision. Oh, now I've got to open slip, right? Here, oh, I got outside, so now I can chop to get outside, right? So getting them to make that decision on the seam. So here, all right, he got the outside. He wasn't really decisive, but he had me up, right? And he did end up swipe, dip, and rip, which is really good. So making them have a decision. And they work all these different looks. Really good look at it right here. All right. So now he's trying to get outside. I don't let him. Okay. He sees that and he opens and slips because he's now on his wide landmark. And you can always add a ball onto it. Again, trying to work lots of things. There you go. There's the open slip. And then there's a ball. Okay. A lot of the times, another second level release, you do a lot of cross routes as a tight end. So on the backside of nakeds, maybe you just run a cross route. There's a lot of things where you are crossing the line of scrimmage. Well, you have to release on backers. They're not just it's gonna be under Sam, over Mike type of routes. We got to work that, right? So we do a best release on an inside backer. It's the same thing. You're still gonna work your swipe, dip, and rip. You're still gonna work your chop, but we got to get to the backside level and get vertical. So again, it's a little different. We just work the safeties. We work this outside lane area. Well, if you go inside, there's still going to be a lot of carnage in there. A lot of guys still trying to put hands on you. So that's a good look right there of just getting on a backer. He doesn't let you inside. So what do you got to do? You got to chop his hands down and get vertical to get over the top. Good look at it there. Okay. So here we go. We're crossing the line of scrimmage. We're crossing the ball. Okay. We're going inside. That becomes our second level release. Our job is to get to the third level on a cross route or verticals or seams, okay? This guy's in our way. Leroy does a really nice decision right here of just playing with speed, being fast and physical, okay? He closes that front inside, doesn't let us inside, right? So he chops and gets over the top. Ends up being late, separate on that ball. Another good look at it here. So we go inside. Now we're attacking the defender. He is truly hard walling us, so we now have to work over the top. But you got to do it while using hands. So you see right there, he's starting to rip and chop and clear. Sometimes we get the inside, right? So that guy stays inside. We swipe, dip, and rip on that one by Jacob. So there we go. We get inside. Not a great release, but at least he's being physical and he ends up getting on our separation drills, which are a little later. Okay? So we've talked about second level, first level, stem, and speed, right? We have done the things that we need to do to get to our routes. All right, so we'll get to these breaking points. So again, when we break, we want to make sure that we attack defenders. Speed, get defenders off our grass, eyes and shoulders, right? Everybody knows how to do this. Break our momentum. The biggest thing I want to talk to our guys about, we're going to be as fast as we can get, and really all I want you to do is drop your hips. It is impossible to run as fast as you can while you drop your hips, okay? So it gets you a low center of gravity, sink your hips, pump your arms with tight elbows, chest over knees, nose over toes. Our plant, we want to make sure our knees are up, okay? Our foot's in the ground, and we are able to open up our hip, okay? And then hat and hands. Eyes bring your body, okay? So we're going to break to our right. If our eyes go really quickly, what's that do? It automatically opens up our shoulder, which automatically opens up our elbow, which automatically opens up our hip, knee, and our foot. Okay, so if you have quick eyes, I'm not saying look where you're going, but if you have quick eyes, okay, you'll be able to work that. okay? We have two types of brakes, edge brake, speed brake, right? Edge brake is just a 90-45. It's a sharp outside brake, okay? Speed brake is soft. You're going to roll over your inside shoulder. We really don't ever want you to stop, to slow down. We want you to go as fast as you can. You're going to gain about 2 yards out of your brake, and so you never lose your speed, okay? Again, what do we look for? Slowing down. These are all red flags that we're about to brake. We slow down. We raise up, okay? We raise up before we brake, all right? Our eyes go down, right, knowing that we're going to brake, okay? We're banging the drum. We get our elbows out here. We got to keep our tight elbows. Ski turning, jumping into routes, right? Peaking, that's where I'm talking about, like going over here. I'm saying I'm going to go over here by looking early, and then sitting back in a chair, right? Got to keep our nose over our toes, okay? So we've got box drill. Again, do yourself a favor at tight end and work your release with your box drill, okay? You can see those guys working it. Always want to make sure at the end of this drill we finish in front of the cone, get friendly to the QB, okay? You can do that with a edge brake. You can also do the box drill, okay, with a speed brake. So right here, there's your speed, 2 speed brakes, and again, tight turn in front of the cone, okay? 2-point release, again, you can work your 2-point releases with it. There's your second, there's your 2-point stance, right? A little bit of a false step, but you can still, again, work different drills. This is a very simple drill to work your braking points, okay? M drill, and already, there you go. We just worked a misdirection release with the M, okay? Good look at it there. Boom, boom, sinking those hips, okay? Being tight to the cone at the end, okay? So again, using misdirection release, you can put it up with pads, okay? 2-point release, same thing. You don't get to do it a ton, right? But you can always do it on the M drill. Z drill, one of my favorite ones, because now instead of just doing a speed brake, edge brake, you do them all, right? So you go to the cone, do an edge brake, and then you speed. Okay, I'm not going to go through it twice. You can kind of see edge, speed. So now you've done that one drill, you did it for 1 minute, and you're out. You got all the things you need. One of the things that I love on the first level is just to teach our guys how in tune their feet and their elbows are. The faster your elbows go, the faster your feet go when you're braking. Okay, so I like these guys to get a foot fire. Right now, they're not on balance, they're slow. So how do we go from this right here to speed? Because this is really, right there, is the position we want to be in when we brake. We want to be low, tight elbows, quick feet. So we want to burst into it. Really good look at if you have an arch to use that. Okay, we can always go back down our stem, which is the hardest brake that we have. So again, what am I going to do? I just put a second level release with our drill. We did foot fire, okay? We got braking point, and then we put a release on it as well. Try to get creative, get as many drills in as possible as I go fast right here. I'll give one example right here, okay? Looking swipe, dip, and rip, right? You can see him not sit back in a chair, back down our stem, friendly to the QB, okay? Again, you can always add stuff with it. So just some ideas for your braking point. All right, one of the other ones I like to do is this figure 8. Okay, again, how do we move with our hips sunk down, right? Boom, 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 there I am. This is the position I need to be in to when I get friendly to the QB and get north and south, right? And then I end up working my yak drill there as well, okay? Just some of the look at the braking points. Okay, you can do an open hip, right? That would be on an angle. All right, last thing. Okay, there are a ton of catch drills and yak drills. I won't go into those. The most important thing in tight end is really the separation, right? Getting our body between the defender and the ball. It's really big to create a wall, using our body to create a wall against the defender. So we've done a great job of our braking point, stem, speed, second level. And then we got to use our hands and our body to our advantage so that we can stack, create a three-way go, and then speed out of our brake. Okay, so when we talk about separation, there's a lot of ways to do it. There's grab, thigh, throw, by. Okay, good example, you do it on a pop-up. So let's say the defender's over the top of us. We got a curl route, right? We're going to grab his thigh, get him going, okay? Move him. Up and through, and then shoot our off arm to get our body going back to where we're supposed to get. So boom, boom, there you go. Okay, you can run it with a curl route, right? So grab the defender, grab thigh, throw by, get back to the QB. It's a good look at it there. Boom, we get through the outside, throw him by, get back to the QB. Okay, grab thigh, throw by. You can also do that with an in route, right? So you can throw him by and shoot our off arm. That's the key to the grab thigh, throw by, is to shoot our off arm. And you also do it on an out, right? Just working against those pop-ups. You can also do it against a man, right? So they can truly feel the grab thigh. You can see it, grab his thigh, and then he shoots that left arm to clear through. He's going to punch through the defender, okay, and then get across. It gets your body through. That's really key with all of this, is to get your off arm, okay? You can also do it on an out. So we're going to grab thigh, and then you see Fred right here take his right arm and shoot it through, okay, to get on the out. Okay, a second way is clear arm. A lot of the times when we're going through the second level, guys are trying to hold onto our shoulder. We want what we call a clear arm. That's where we're going to take, they've got our hand like this. We're going to pop that hand up and then get back into our pump. Okay, what's up, coach? So we're going to do that right there. Boom, boom. Okay, clear arm, so that you really want to see these guys clear, pop, clear it through, and then up and under, right, to get back on their pump. Good look at it right here. He's trying to hold on. You can see Leroy at the top of this route, just this one extra little something, little clear arm at the top. Boom, just to clear it right there. Boom. He's still trying to grab on. Just always work your hands so you can stay into your pump. He tracks the ball. Last little separation, I'll let you go here. We got lean and break, okay? So we're at the top of our route. We're working on this white line, okay? Oscar is the offense. Okay, Allen right here is the defense. So you're off of this white line. You're going to lean into this defender. Once you hit the white line, you have now leaned into him, and you've got separation. This is one of the best things for a tight end because we can use our body. It just teaches guys to lean on, stay tight with our break, and then separate late. We always talk about late separate, okay? We don't want to be open early, okay? We want to be open late. We're covered early, open late, so we can really, truly control this defender on our out routes. Good look. So let's say that we've got to the top of our route. We take an extra step. We take an extra lean on to get separated. All right, so here we go. We got an inside route. There it is, right? We get take that 2 extra steps to lean, break, and now we have late separate. We are covered early, right? But our lean, wall, okay, and break, wish we would have finished that one, okay? Another good look right here. We get through the outside. We are completely covered up. Right? But when we lean, we break, we now have late separation and the ball's on us and we've got enough separation to make a back shoulder catch. Lean and break. It's a really good look at it. So that's our white line. He leans onto it, all right, and then breaks. Does a good job getting separated in the end zone. So again, the other parts of it are really catch and yak, okay? So we went through all that. Like I said, you've got a very little amount of time. You've now had to work pass protection and run game before you worked all of this, okay? You got to work in 3-point stance, 2-point stance. But if you're organized as a coach, you get your stance and start, first level, second level, stem speed, breaking point, separation, yak, and catch. You can hopefully get all that done by, again, on all of these, try to work 2 or 3 things in each drill. So again, hopefully you got to watch a couple of these. Sorry I didn't get to the catch and the yak. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. Appreciate you guys.